Hey All Stars, it's Mrs. Smith here. I wanted to talk to you today about perspective, which is just a big word for point of view. And I thought I would start by using a mug to show you how our perspective can be different depending on how we look at it. It was interesting, my brain had to think about when I was making this video. As I look at this mug, the handle's on my left. But I think as you view this video, the handle is on your right. All right, so that's one perspective. If we turn it this way, from this perspective, we don't see a handle at all. And honestly, it's hard to even make out what the image is on the sides, right? But then we flip it, and then from my perspective, the handle is on the right side, but from your perspective, the handle's on the left side. And then if we rotate it once more, when we look at this, all we see is the handle, like from this view. If you didn't even know there was a mug and I just showed you, it might even throw you off a little bit to see what that is, right? So depending on what perspective we're looking at the mug, we see it differently. And that's a really great thing to think about and reflect on when we are problem solving, if we have a conflict with somebody. If it's just kind of also just how we're thinking about the situation that we're in. Our perspective is important. So I thought I would share a story with you. It's actually an old book. It's called Seven Blind Mice by Ed Young. And I'm going to read it to you. One day, 7 blind mice were surprised to find a strange something by their pond. "What is it?" they cried, and they all ran home. So if you see here at the bottom, these are the tails of the mice. On Monday, Red Mouse went out first to find out. So there's the red mouse, and there is what he sees. "It's a pillar," he said. No one believed him. Right, so that was his perspective when he came and just looked at this part. He thought it was a pillar. On Tuesday, Green Mouse set out. He was the second to go. And he saw a different part. And he saw this. And he came back and reported that it was a snake. That's what he saw. That was his perspective. "No," said Yellow Mouse on Wednesday. So he went and he found a different part. And guess what he thought it was? "It's a spear," he said on his turn. The fourth was Purple Mouse. He went on Thursday. "It is a great cliff," he said. Orange Mouse went on Friday, the fifth to go. What do you think he thinks it is? "It's a fan," he cried. "I felt it move." The sixth to go was Blue Mouse. He went on Saturday and said, "It is nothing but a rope." But the others didn't agree. They began to argue. "It's a snake, a rope, a fan, a cliff." Until on Sunday, when White Mouse went to the pond. When she came upon the something, she ran up one side and she ran down the other. She ran across the top and from end to end. So she's not looking at one isolated part. She's looking at the whole thing. "Ah," said White Mouse, "now I see. The something is as sturdy as a pillar, supple as a snake, wide as a cliff, sharp as a spear, breezy as a fan, stringy as a rope, but altogether the something is an elephant. And when the other mice ran up one side and down the other, across the something from end to end, they agreed. Now they saw it too. And the mouse moral is, knowing in part may make a fine tale, but wisdom comes from seeing the whole. Like I said, this book is old. I got it 1997, but I think it's a really great book, and I think it's, like I said, it's a great book to talk about perspective, how that mouse moral, right? It said, what did it, go back and go, it said, knowing in part may make a fine tale. And that's usually what we see. We just see part of the story. We just see the one side where the handle's it's on my right side or it's on your left side, right? But wisdom comes from seeing the whole thing, right? The white mouse he went across the whole elephant and he checked all of it and said, yes, it has all those other parts, right? It has the trunk, it has the tail, it has the what is that called? His tusk, thank you. He has the flappy ears, he has all of that. And the other mice were seeing it as just their part that they saw. They weren't seeing the whole thing. And so that is a really great lesson on perspective. When we're able to see things from someone else's their perspective, because that's how they see it, that's their truth, then we're able to come up to some resolution. All right. Now, I want to speak specifically to our 5th graders for just a minute. I know that many of you are super devastated about not being able to go back to school. And I get it. I get it, right? I mean, 5th grade is like your senior year of elementary school. I'm sure you're feeling sad and you're feeling disappointed and you're feeling frustrated. And like I said, I get it. I feel sad for you, and I don't want to take any of that away from you. But I would like to offer you a different perspective as well. Okay? I want you to reflect on all your years being at Pelham Road. I want you to think about all your friendships that you've made. Some of them will last a lifetime, right? Some of them may have been just what you needed for that school year, but you have made some really great friendships at Pelham Road. I want you to reflect on all the memories that you've made. I want you to reflect on all the field trips that you've been able to take. I want you to reflect on all the laughs you've had and all the cries you've had, the drama, it's all part of it, right? I want you to think about all the books that you've read, all of the movies that you've seen, all of the art projects, all of the science projects, all of the school parties, the booster-thons, the reading buddies that you've had, the boo-grams that you've given and that you've received, the ceremonies and the programs you've attended, right? There's so many great memories that you've had. You've had disappointments and you've had failures that you've learned from and turned into learning lessons. So what am I getting at when I'm saying all this? You guys have grown as a person. You have really great memories and you've had great experiences and some not so great, but you have grown as a person. And you're awesome. That's what I want to tell you. You are awesome. You, this journey that you've had, it's had its ups and its downs, but you are a better person because of it. And I want you to take that and honor that and know that this 4th quarter, even though it's been so different and it's not been what you expected and what we wanted, it's not ideal. It's just 1 quarter of your whole school career. And I know some of you haven't been at Pelham Road the whole time, but just like take that into perspective. It's just it's a part of it. But you've gained so much more than just losing this 9 weeks of being all together. All right? Much love and light to you. Take care.